Hi everyone, it's Giorgia here and welcome to Be Colorful. I take this opportunity to wish you a Happy New Year, hoping that for all of you it will be full of creativity, color and satisfaction. In front of me I'm opening the package containing the Tonic Craft Kit number 37. These kits are released every month by Tonic Studios and always contain a set of exclusive stamp and dies, paper of various finishes and Nuvo products. Each kit has a theme. For example, with the kit 36 you could create Christmas boxes, and we found papers and products in the Christmas colors gold and red. I have created 2 Christmas lanterns and 10 Christmas cards. For more information on this kit, I leave you the link to the Tonic Studios website below in the description box. With kit 37 we finally leave Christmas and all its magnificence and move on to a kit that offers bright and at the same time delicate colors, blue and lilac. So let's see the paper included in the kit. As always, Tonic Studios provides us with various types of paper. We find a lilac classic card with texture, 2 specialty cards with a pearlescent finish and beautiful embossed decorations, a light blue mirror card with a satin finish, a lilac pearlescent card, a super sparkling glitter card, and finally the wonderful cotton paper. And that was the paper set. But this month we're also getting a paper pad containing a mix of white pearlescent paper. We have plain pearlescent paper, glitter card, and 2 embossed cards. And now let's move on to the Nuvo product, carefully selected to match the color palette of the kit. We find a light lilac crystal drop, a purple vintage drop. Unlike crystal drops, which have a gloss or metallic finish, vintage drops have a matte finish. A glitter drop with a semi-transparent light blue base containing turquoise glitter. A pearlescent blue embellishment mousse. These are texture pastes with a consistency similar to butter. They can be used in many ways. I will show you 2 in these videos. And if you want to see other techniques of using these mousses, you can take a look at the video of the kit number 32. And we find a glitter marker, which are water-based markers that contain very fine silver glitter. In the kit we can find randomly one of the markers of this set. Okay, let's move on to the dies. With this set it's possible to create frames and circle shapes, allowing us, for example, to create cards with different layers and thicknesses. This is the largest circle die, and if you notice, is decorated with small dots along the edges. The kit is called Rosemelling Dot and Drop. In fact, the presence of this dot will allow us, if we want, to fill the dot with the Nuvo drops included in the kit. We also have other smaller circle dies that will allow us to create layers with various finishes. we find 3 intricate dies to decorate all or half of the large circle. As a sentiment, we find this semicircle that die cut the sentiment thinking of you, and this that die cut the sentiment it's your day. Finally, we have 5 dies to create decorative element. Now let's move on to the stamp set. The set includes 3 stamps, a small flower, a sentiment, and a semicircle with floral motifs. The sentiment and the semicircle can be cut out using the dies from the kit. Before moving on to the creation of the card, I remind you that the dies and stamps cannot be bought separately, while all the other products can be easily found online. You will find the links of all the products you see in the video in the description box and on my blog. This monthly kit go out of stock very fast, so if you like them, I recommend you take out a monthly subscription. With £30 per month, you will receive the new kit on time. They have a great value for money. They are complete kit, and for me it is always fun to be able to create with them. Often they offer me styles and color combinations than ever I'd have thought of using, or that do not fit my style. So I think this is a way to challenge and improve myself. But now I have talked too much, so let's start creating the first card. For the first card, I'm gonna create an easel card. First of all, I'm going to make the front of the easel card by die cutting white cardstock with the largest circle die of the kit. To get what the easel will be, I'm going to draw a fold line on a white cardstock, making sure to leave on the right a very small part of the circle beyond this line. I reinforce the fold line, cut out the excesses, and die cut, leaving the small part of the circle outside the cardstock. I'm using the Sizzix precision plate instead of one of the normal acrylic plates because being a double cardstock, it is difficult to die cut the two parts well. This plate being thicker puts more pressure on the die. Now I just have to create a fold line in the center of the front side. I'm going to reinforce the fold line with my bone folder, and here is the easel. The basic structure of the easel card is ready, so let's move on to decorate it as we prefer. In my case, I proceeded to die cut the lilac classic card with the scalloped circle die. Then I'm gonna decorate the white circle base with one of the intricate dies from the kit. To complete the circle, I just rotate the die, aligning as best as possible the end of the die with the end of the previous die cut. I remove the small pieces, but I keep them, Maybe I can use them for other projects. After that, from the paper pad included in the kit, I take the glitter paper to create the background for this intricate border, always die cutting the paper with the largest die in the set. With the stitch circle die, I made this circle on white cardstock, where I gonna die cut the sentiment of the kit. Still with the stitch circle die, I'm going to create the background for the sentiment on the glitter paper of the paper pad. So I glue the sentiment on the top of the base with some liquid glue. Then I'm gonna stick the sentiment on the top of the lilac circle using some foam pad to create a nice dimension. To decorate my easel card, I decided to create lilac flowers using this die from the kit. However, I'm going to cut out the central flower and I'm going to prepare exactly 6 flowers. From the central part of this die, I'm going to create 2 more flowers on the white glitter paper. Before gluing the flowers, I finish assembling the front part of the easel card. I then glue the decorated circle on the glitter base. And the central circle with some foam pad. Next, I'm gonna give the flowers a little 3-dimension by slightly curl up the petals. If you prefer, you can shape them with the help of a ball stylus tool, like this one, and a rubber mouse mat. And now I'm ready to create my flower composition to embellish my card. Next, I'm going to glue the front part of the easel card on the easel, spreading some liquid glue only on this part. I let it dry and I move on to prepare the element that will be used to keep the easel card open. I will create a circle element using these dies because in the kit there are no circles small enough for my needs. If you don't have such dies, you can easily cut out a simple square of paper. The shape doesn't matter. I just wanted to continue with the circle figures. So, after die cut one of the circles on lilac cardstock, I'm going to decorate the element a bit with some glitter flowers. Once the decoration is finished, I'm going to glue it to the base of the easel using some foam pad. This thickness will keep the easel card open. I finished this beautiful and super sparkling easel card by creating the center of the flowers with the lilac crystal drop included in the kit. One great way to create cards is to take inspiration from card sketches. On the internet you can find an infinity of them. For this particular card I looked for a card sketch with a circle element. I won't follow the proposed design perfectly, but it is a good starting point to create my card. So first I'm going to prepare my card base on white cardstock in standard size, that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. To create the lower left ring, I'm going to use the largest die in the kit and decorate it with a coordinated intricate die. In particular, I want to use this with the dot between the various flowers. To create the ring, I also use the second largest die in the set, which also decorates the edges with dot. And here is the lower ring portion. With the same circle die, I'm going to create the background for the intricate design using the beautiful light blue embossed paper of the kit. I'm going to glue the ring onto the base with some liquid glue and eliminate any excesses. Still using the two larger circle die, I get the portion of the circle located in the upper part of the card sketch. In my card, this circle will be another portion of the ring, in the center of which I will glue a piece of the blue embossed paper. Before gluing everything down, I'm going to position the bottom ring in such a way that there is enough space to accommodate the sentiment included in the kit. So I proceed to glue the lower ring. As well as a piece of light blue embossed paper in the center of the second ring, and then glue it to the upper right corner of the card. I chop off the excesses and I move on to the sentiment, stamping it with the VersaFine Onyx Black, using the stamping platform so as to be able to align the stamp well, as well as to stamp several times in the same position to get a nice impression. Having used a slow drying ink, I can heat emboss the stamp with a clear embossing powder, giving to the sentiment a nice glossy finish. Now I do a crazy thing. I will fill all the dots created by the dies with the vintage drop of the kit. No doubt, it is a long process, but the result will be fantastic, I assure you. How long did it take me? Almost 14 minutes. It is not that long. Then, to be honest, I find it relaxing. Also for the card number 3, I'd like to propose the use of a card sketch that will allow you to use your circle die and that will highlight the beautiful special card by Craft Perfect. First, I create the card base on white cardstock in standard size, that's 4¼ by 5½. I'm going to die cut the light blue embossed paper of the kit with the stitch circle die. Same thing using lilac embossed paper. Then, on the white pearlescent paper of the paper pad included in the kit, I'm going to stamp the sentiment using a lilac ink. I'm using the stamping platform just to make sure to get a nice impression. Then I'm using the glitter marker, always included in the kit, as ink for the stamp, so it's going to add a second shade of color to the stamp, as well as a little shiny thanks to the glitter contained in the marker. Being a special paper, the ink may not dry perfectly, therefore, in order to avoid smudging the color, I'm gonna protect the ink by heat embossing it using the clear embossing powder. With the same stitch circle die that I used a little while ago to create the other two circles, I'm going to die cut the sentiment. Next, following the card sketch, I'm going to glue the 3 circles directly onto the card base, even if soon I'll change my mind. In fact, before gluing the circle with the sentiment with some foam tape, I decided to create a panel using a stitch rectangle die. So now I can stick down the sentiment. Since my panel is slightly smaller than the standard card, I can create finishing borders with the white pearlescent paper. After made again my card base, I can glue the panel on the front. And I finish the card by adding a few crystal drop and glitter drop included in the kit. The last card for this video will be a Gatefold card with circle flaps. To create it, I'm going to cut out a piece of cardstock into a 10 by 5.5 rectangle. Then I'm gonna make 2 fold lines at 2.5 inches. I turn the cardstock and make the second line always at 2.5 inches. Now, using the largest circle die of the kit, I'm gonna give a circle shape to the 2 flaps of the Gatefold card. To do this, I need to make a partial die cut. So I'm going to place the die aligning its border with the right border of the card. Then I'm going to position the upper plate of the die cutter machine with the side perfectly aligned with the fold line, in this way, leaving all the part of the die, which must not cut, outside the plate. Note that in my case, the Sizzix plate has a kind of curvature in its end. This part doesn't exert pressure, so I aligned the plate without taking into account the curved part. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the other flap. I'm gonna correct the card because if you notice, the portion of the circles that I die cut have a shorter diagonal than the height of the card. No problem at all. I just align the guillotine blade with the end of the semicircles, cutting out the excesses. The basic structure of the Gatefold card with circle flaps is now ready to be decorated. I will keep a very simple and elegant design. First of all, covering the flaps with this beautiful embossed white pearlescent paper. Therefore, I always die cut this paper with the large die from the kit. I'm gonna place the circle on one of the flaps, leaving a very thin border of white cardstock uncovered. I'm going to cut out the excesses by aligning the fold line of the card base with the guillotine blade, leaving the flap closed. Of course, I'm gonna use the leftover portion of the circle to cover up the other flap, repeating exactly what I did for the first one. Then I'm going to glue the covering using the foam pad to give dimension, but I apply it only along the central part of the edges, while I keep the other side flat by gluing it with some liquid glue. I do the same for the other flap. Inside the Gatefold card, I'm gonna glue some white pearlescent cardstock in order to create a background, but also to be able to write my personal message. In this way, it will not be visible from the outside. I cut out a rectangle slightly smaller than the base, and now I'm going to make a fold line that will allow me to lift the paper easily. I'm going to stick the panel by applying the glue only to the back of the flap that I have created. Now I need to create the wrapper that will keep the gatefold card closed. You can use a simple ribbon or some paper, as I will do in this case. In particular, I will use some vellum. After cut out a strip of vellum, taking the longest side of the sheet, I'm going to wrap the gatefold card and glue the two ends of the vellum strip, being careful not to stretch the paper too much. And let's move on to creating the decorative element of the card, which will also hide this part of the vellum where I applied the glue. With the scalloped circle die, I'm going to die cut the lilac pearlescent paper from the kit, while with the smallest die in the set, I'm going to cut out a circle on white cardstock, on which I will stamp the sentiment "Congratulations" from the Tonic Craft Kit number 34. You can use the stamp of the kit if you prefer, or any stamp or die that you have in your stash. I'm going to use a lilac ink to stamp the sentiment. And I'm going to create some shades with the glitter marker of the kit, thus adding a little bit of glitter. Then I'm going to do the hot embossing technique with a clear embossing powder. So now I can glue the sentiment on the pearlescent lilac circle and all on the vellum strip. Also for this card I decided to fill the dot created by the die with the lilac crystal drop of the kit. To decorate the central element of the card, I decided to create a small garland of leaves and flowers, using this die of the kit on the white pearlescent paper. Then, with the center of this die of the set, I'm gonna create a lilac pearlescent flower and two smaller flowers, always with the lilac pearlescent paper, making them from this die. I'm gonna glue my flower composition with liquid glue. And as finishing touches, I'm gonna create a few drops with the lilac crystal drop and with the ivory seashell crystal drop not included in the kit. We have come to the end of this first video. Thank you to journey with me, and I'll see you at the next video, where many cards are waiting for us with the rose mailing dot and drop kit. I'd like to remind you that you can take inspiration from my videos without the need to have this kit. In fact, you could make all these cards with your circle dies and your sentiment, or by creating circles with round shapes that you have at home. such as a jar or salad bowl, for example, tracing the outlines with a pencil and then cutting out the figure with the scissors. In short, never limit your creativity. Do the luck of a specific product. Honestly, compared to many other creatives, my craft room is quite small. So, bye bye, see you soon, and always be colorful.